were gentlemen. I mean, they weren't assholes. They were nice men, but they were hardcore. They were hard-working men.
Sam Elliott's voice is deep, gravelly, and unmistakably Western. But beneath that mustache and those worn cowboy hats lies a quiet anger that's burned for decades. After 60 years in Hollywood, Sam's earned respect from fans and filmmakers alike. Still, there are 6 names he's never forgiven. Actors who betrayed the craft or played silent disrespect behind his back. For years, he kept that list quiet. Now at 80, he's done holding it in. And when you hear who made his blacklist, you'll never look at them the same way again. The first name was Kevin Costner, the cowboy he just couldn't stand. For Sam Elliott, authenticity is everything. Every line comes from a place of truth. Sam didn't play a cowboy. He was one. Raised on ranches, molded by dust and discipline. You could hear the leather in his voice. You could see the years carved into his eyes. People believed him because he was real. So when Costner played a cowboy in Wyatt Earp and later in Yellowstone, Sam just rolled his eyes. To him, Costner was Hollywood's version of a cowboy. Polished, perfect, all script, no soul. He plays a rancher like it's dress up, Sam told friends, like he's pretending to be something he doesn't understand. While audiences praised Yellowstone, Sam saw a polished fantasy, the West through a postcard lens, filtered, romanticized, far too clean. Insiders later revealed Sam was offered a cameo. He turned it down immediately. "It's a soap opera in a cowboy hat," he quipped. But that wasn't about the script. It was about protecting what the West meant to him. To Sam, Westerns were a code of honor, a reflection of values and integrity. The West wasn't supposed to sparkle. It was supposed to mean something. Even when the 2 men shared a room, the air turned cold. The silence between them could freeze a desert. Then came The Power of the Dog. In 2021, Sam stunned Hollywood by tearing into the acclaimed film and its star, Benedict Cumberbatch. No soft phrasing, no restraint. His words were sharp, unfiltered, and hit like a gunshot. "What the hell does this Brit know about the American West?" Sam scoffed. The backlash came fast. Social media ignited. Critics called Sam a relic, too rooted in the past. But he didn't flinch, didn't apologize, didn't back down. To him, the film had disrespected everything Westerns stood for. It glamorized fragility, twisted strength into dysfunction. This wasn't about one actor. It was about defending a legacy, a tradition built on silence that spoke louder than words. Cumberbatch never responded. Benedict chose silence over spectacle. Sam, on the other hand, didn't move an inch. He stood by every word. Next, Ashton Kutcher. The man he believed turned acting into an embarrassment. To Sam, acting was sacred, a calling that demanded truth, patience, discipline, not charm or brand deals. Every performance had to come from somewhere real and lived in. When Kutcher rocketed to stardom through That 70s Show, coasted through romantic comedies, and reinvented himself as a tech investor, Sam wasn't impressed. He was offended. It felt like watching someone treat the craft as a hobby, a platform for publicity instead of storytelling. When Netflix cast them together in the ranch, Sam showed up and did his job. But behind the camera, the cracks showed. Crew members recalled the silence between them. Heavy, uneasy, almost electric. "He's a good guy," Sam was overheard saying, "but he's no actor." It wasn't Kutcher's personality. It was his approach. To Sam, Ashton represented everything wrong with New Hollywood. A world where algorithms replaced instincts, where social media metrics mattered more than craft. "He acts like a guy who learned acting from YouTube," Sam muttered to a friend. It wasn't bitterness. It was principle. Sam was holding the line, protecting a code that valued substance over showmanship, truth over trend. Then there was Nicolas Cage, loud, erratic, excessive. For Sam, subtlety was everything. Great acting didn't need to shout. It simmered. A raised eyebrow, a weighted silence, a single word carrying the burden of a lifetime. That was power. When Cage stormed onto the scene with explosive energy, wild gestures and emotions bursting at every seam, Sam didn't see brilliance. He saw chaos. To him, Cage was performing himself, a one-man circus, dazzling, noisy, and exhausting. Even on Ghost Rider, Sam kept his distance. Always polite, never warm. In later interviews, he never named names, but his words pointed a finger. He spoke of actors who hijacked the screen with ego. "He's more firework than flame," Sam confessed. "Bright, loud, and gone in a second." For Sam, Cage symbolized a troubling turn in cinema, a hunger for shock over story, spectacle over substance. But nothing stung like Jeff Bridges. There was a time when Sam Elliott and Jeff Bridges seemed carved from the same stone, rugged, grounded, soulful. Men who spoke volumes without saying much. Their strength came from stillness. When they shared the screen in The Big Lebowski, they were electric. Two sides of the same coin. Off-screen, their bond felt genuine. They laughed together, traded stories, and built friendship on shared respect. But over time, something shifted. Not suddenly, just a slow, subtle distance. After Jeff won his Oscar for Crazy Heart, Sam noticed the change. The man who once radiated humility started appearing in glossy magazines, walking red carpets with political slogans, making rounds in polished interviews. To Sam, the Jeff he knew, the one who valued truth over trend, was slipping away, replaced by Hollywood's sheen. It wasn't jealousy, it was disappointment. Sam had built his life on the idea that integrity is the one thing a man can't afford to lose. Watching a friend drift from that ideal hurt in a way no critic ever could. In one rare interview, asked about former collaborators, Sam replied cryptically, "Some folks change," he said quietly. "Others just show who they always were." For many, that line wasn't just reflection. It was a message to Jeff Bridges. Jeff never responded. The silence spoke louder. They stopped appearing at the same festivals. They stopped supporting each other's work. The brotherhood that felt unshakable simply faded. For Sam, the loss wasn't about ego. It was personal. The pain came not from betrayal, but from erosion. The slow decay of a friendship built on shared values. And then there was Jared Leto, the method gone mad. For Sam, Hollywood's biggest sin was pretension. The kind of overblown self-seriousness that turns art into theater for the actor's ego. Acting wasn't supposed to scream for attention. It was supposed to disappear into truth. When Leto made headlines for method madness, mailing dead rats to co-stars, living in character for weeks, turning sets into endurance trials, Sam didn't see brilliance. He saw a stunt, a performance about performing. "That's not talent," Sam said. "That's theater pretending to be art." If it takes that much effort for him to act, he told a friend, maybe he's in the wrong business. To Sam, true acting never needed shock value. It didn't need chaos. It was about stepping into a role with quiet discipline, humility, and respect, not turning it into a carnival. For Sam, acting was sacred. It was about truth, not tricks. In the end, Sam Elliott's blacklist wasn't about vendettas. It was about drawing a line in the sand, a refusal to let Hollywood rewrite what he'd spent a lifetime defending. These weren't petty grudges. They were philosophical battles. Sam believed that power doesn't mean making noise. Sometimes it's being stubborn enough to stand your ground. Behind the mustache, behind the legend, Sam stayed exactly who he always was, the last real cowboy in a town that forgot what storytelling is supposed to be.